Hello friends, welcome to Java session. I am Pavitra. Today we're going to discuss about data types in Java. What are the different types of data types are there, and what is the use of data types, and how do you create a variable by using the data types? How do you store the values? And how do you manipulate the content of an variable means by using the data types? Okay, we will understand that in this session. So what is exactly data type? First of all, the name itself indicates the type of data we are going to store. Type of data we will store in the memory. So the data type defines the type of data. So whenever we want to define what kind of data we are going to store it in the memory, that we can define it by using data type. So we have the different types of data types. Actually, we can categorize into two types of data types. So one is we can say as primitive data types, and one more is derived data type, or we can derived data type, or we can say it is a user defined data type. Means the data types defined by the user or created by the user. So what do you mean by primitive data type? So primitive data type means the data type which cannot be uh, simplified further. Okay, so the data which is already in the simple form. Okay, so cannot be simplified further, or we can also say cannot be broken down, further. Okay, so we have again four types of primitive data types here. So first one is we can call it as a integer type, and second we can say as a decimal, and third one is boolean type, or we can even say it is a logical type, and fourth one is characters. Okay, so in the integer, means this is four categories. Okay, so in the integer we have four different types of data types based on the range, means based on the size of data. If we have a data is very small in range, then we will go for an there is a data type called byte. And if it is a bit bigger, then we have another next data type, that is short, and then we have int, and we have a long. So the byte means, as I told you, this categorization is happening based on the size. So if I have a data is just 1 byte, okay, then 1 byte means we have 8 bits of information I want to store. Means the data what I'm storing is going to occupy only 8 bits of memory, or less than that, no problem. But maximum if it is taking 8 bits, then we will go for an byte data type. So byte is having the size is 8 bits, or we can say it as 1 byte. 8 bits is nothing but we call it as byte. Okay, so 8 bits also you can see, or we can say it as a 1 byte. So if you want to, if there is a data which is very small and which is consuming only 8 bits of information, then we will go for an integer, especially byte. Means in the integer, basically we are going to store the non-decimal numbers. Means we'll say it as a whole number. So 0 to 9 combinations of an data we can store. 0 to 9 combinations means you can say it as a 1 2 3, or we can say it as a 12, or we can give it as a 3, or we can enter 3 to 1, like this. So the data which is not having the decimal values, which is only the round figure numbers, we can store these kind of numbers in integer, especially in you know bits, actually, that is byte data type. Why we are choosing byte? Because this data will going to occupy only 8 bits of memory. So within 8 bits you can store. How do you know this? It will going to take only 8 bits. So see, always we have this confusion. How do you decide this data is going to take only 8 bits, or it is going to take a more, or it is going to take a less? Exactly, whenever I'm storing her data in the memory, how much memory that data is going to consume, that we can decide. Means how we can decide that? By converting into binary. Okay, so this, suppose you want to know the 12, the number 12, how much memory it is going to consume. Okay, so how do we do that? We will do that by converting the 12 into binary number. And we know how to convert the 12 into binary, that is divide by 2. Okay, so how do you divide this by 2? So first, you can take it as a 2 6 the 12, right? And the remainder is 0. We have to write like this, the division method. And next, again, I'm going to divide this 6 by 2. So it is 2 3 is 6, and the remainder is again 0. And we are going to divide this again by 2, and this will be 2 ones, right? And here the remainder will be 1. So now we need to read this from bottom to top. Okay, so this reminder we have to read from bottom to top. So how do you read that? 1 1 0 0. So this is binary representation of an 12. So 12 is a decimal value. If I convert that into binary, it is 1 1 0 0. So how many digits are there here? There are 4 digits. Means the 12 is taking only 4 bits of memory. So this is 1 bit, this is 2nd bit, 3rd bit, and 4th bit. So it will take only 4 bits of memory. But actually, if I use the byte, how much memory it is allocating? It is allocating 8 bits. Out of 8 bits, this 12 will take only 4 bits. Okay. And if you take 3, if I convert 3 into binary, it will be 1 1, right? So it will take only 2 bits. And if I, the same way, we need to convert 123 into binary and check how many digits that will going to take. But actually, every time, is it mandatory to do the conversion like this? No, it is not mandatory, but we can take it approximately. We should not go for exact calculation. That is quite difficult if the number is too big. right? So we will be knowing, right? So if I convert approximately how many digits, I will going to get it. So based on that, we can guess whether we need to take data type as a byte, or we need to take the data type as short, or we need to take the data type as int or long. So the next data type is, okay, short. Here also we are going to store the whole numbers only, that is non-decimal numbers in short. And when do you go for a short data type rather than byte? We when the data is more than 8 bits, when the data is taking the size, or when the data contains the digits which are more than 8 bits. So I'm not talking about the number of digits which is present in this number. After converting into binary, how many digits comes, that is you have to take. Hmm. So in short is going to take a 2 bytes. Means when your data is around 16 digit, when your data is taking around 16 digits of memory, okay, then we will go for an short. That short, the size is 2 bytes. So next is integer. The integer size, what is the size of the integer? That is, it is going to take 4 bytes. When your data is more than 2 bytes, then we will go for an int. The int minimum size, it will means whenever I declare a variable as int, then it will going to allocate the 4 bytes of memory. And the next one is long. What if my data is more than 4 bytes? Then I'll go for an long, that is 8 bytes. So if the data is more than this, then we don't have any options here. But maximum, we know we have the size here in the integer is 8 bytes. That is long. So when the data is too big, then we will go for an long, that is 8 bytes. The in the, if you convert into bits, it is 64 bits, and this is 32 bits, and this is 16 bits. Okay, so I hope you all got it. How, okay, we need to check how much size the data is going to occupy the memory by converting into binary, and then we can decide the data type. Okay, so whether I need to go for an a byte, short, int, or long. The next is, what if my data is not a whole number, means it is not, it is having some decimal values. So in such case, we have two data types in the decimal. One is float, and one more is double. So the float size is 4 bytes. I mean to say it is 32 bits. And next, double, when my range of the data means is more than the 4 bytes. So then we will go for a double. The double is going to allocate the 8 bytes of memory. I mean to say 64 bits of memory it is going to allocate. And here the precision size is also more than the float. So we can store the decimal values by using the two decimal data types. One, if my data is smaller, if it is fitting only within the 4 bytes, then I'll go for a float. If it is not going to fit in the 4 bytes, if the size is more than 4 bytes, then I'll go for a double. So next is Boolean. Okay, so I told you it is a kind of logical values we're going to store. Those logical values is nothing but true and false. So whenever I want to store the condition checked result, means if I want to check the condition, we say this condition is true or this condition is false, and based on this I'm going to write a conditional constructs. So such case I'll go for an boolean data type, that is true and false. There are only two values. We cannot store any other values apart from true and false. The default value for boolean is false, and the default value for a decimal is 0, 0.0. The default value for all integer is 0. And next, character. Okay, in the character we have the data type. Sorry, this in this boolean we have the data type by name boolean. B will be small here, and this all what I'm discussing, data types, all the data types right now I'm discussing are all keywords. So this byte, short, int, long, and all the keywords will be starting letter will be small. So boolean is the data type, and which is going to hold the value true and false. So if we are not assigning the value, by default it will going to take a value as false. Next, character. Okay, in the character we have char as the data type, char. Okay, we usually say as a char, or we say it as a char also, and it is going to take a 2 bytes of memory. Okay, so usually in other programming languages the character char will take only 1 byte, but here in Java it is taking 2 bytes, because in Java we have Unicode character. Java supports Unicode characters. What do you mean by Unicode characters? It is worldwide programming, worldwide languages, we can say, like the way we have English, Hindi, Kannada, French, Arabic, okay, and Chinese, like that. Okay, all kinds of letters we can able to store here in this. So every letter size will not be same, especially if you go for English, it will only the size is very less, but other languages, okay, the letters, alphabets, their size is not same. So I want to store all the worldwide, what all the languages are there, mm, every language characters I want to store it. So that is where we say that the character size is 2 bytes. Okay. So character is used to store the single character, and as I told you, it will going to it is supporting Unicode character, and Unicode, why it is 2 bytes, why it is taking 2 bytes, why in other programming like C and C++ it is taking 1 byte, and why here it is taking 2 bytes, because Java supports the Unicode character. And what is Unicode characters? It is all worldwide characters. Okay, the worldwide all the programming characters we have to store. So Java is having its own Unicode, Unicode for each and every character what is present. So now we will see one by one how do you declare a variable by using these data types. So first I'll show you here, and then I will show you the program on this. Now the first category we have seen is the integer, right? So how do you, in the integer, the first data type is byte. So how do you declare a variable? By using byte data type. So first, if you want to understand the syntax, we have to give the data type, and then variable name equal to value. If you don't want to give the value, then you can just say data type and variable name. That's all. So you don't need to give the value. Value can be given later. So we call this as definition of variable, and this one we call it as declaration of variable. Now here there is a one more question comes for us. What is variable? So how do you define the variable? We can define variable is the name of memory location. Name of memory location where we store the data. Like if I want to store an semester, okay, or I want to store a age, or I want to store a name, like that. So the variable is the name of memory location where I'm going to store the data, and data type is the type of data we are going to store it in that memory block. I'll show you the difference here now. The data type and variable. See, the data type means I told you the type of data we are going to store, and variable is nothing but, see, suppose imagine this is the memory block I have created, and the name of this memory block, let us say the name I am giving here is age. So this age is the variable, and what kind of data we are going to store here. And this memory block is 2 byte, or is it 1 byte, or is it 4 byte, or it is 8 bytes. Okay, that depends on what is the data type I am given. So if I am giving the data type as a short, okay, so this memory block will be 2 bytes. If I'm giving the data type as a byte, then this memory block will be just 1 byte. Okay, so like this. So the data type decides how much memory it is allocating, and variable decides what is the name of this memory block, what is the label I'm giving to this memory block. That is, we call it as variable. So we cannot give the variable name without a data type. So we have, whenever I'm allocating a memory for a data, that is by declaring the variable. So how do you declare a variable? Just now I shown you the data type and then variable name. First we have to give the data type, then we have to give the variable name. Means this variable name is the name of the block, as I shown you here, age. So I'll show you. First I'll declare one variable here. So let us say I want to declare one variable short age. See, I'm not taking age as int, because the maximum age we can enter is, let us say max to max we enter 200, right? So the 200 we can easily store it in short data type, because short is 2 bytes. So we don't need to go for an int. If we go for an int, there is a unnecessary memory wastage will happen, because it will allocate 32 bits of memory, and out of that hardly it can consume, okay, 7 to 8 bits. The rest all will be waste, means it is allocated but we are not using it, and that memory cannot be used it in somewhere else. So that's the reason we need to analyze, we need to understand what is the range of the data max to max we will be storing in this variable. Based on that, we have to take a call whether we are going to use the data type as a byte or short or int or long. So right now I am telling short age. And what is this? This is, we call it as declaration of an variable. In the declaration of the variable, I am only allocating a memory. Memory will be allocated, but value we are not giving. Means in this memory block, what value I am storing right now I have not given. So I can give this later in the program also. It is not mandatory that whenever we do the declaration there itself we have to give the value. But if we know the value well in advance, then we can assign it also. That we can call it as definition of an variable, because we are providing the value. Definition of variable means, for example, we can write short age is equal to 45, like this. And the short belongs to integer data type. So here there will be always a whole number only. You cannot store a decimal value here. So it will not accept if you provide the decimal value. If you provide the decimal value, it will take only whole number part. The decimal part it will ignore. So that we need to understand. Short age 45, so it will allocate the memory blocks here, that is 2 bytes. Okay, and in that 2 bytes, what value in this memory block, what value is stored now? 45 is stored. So whenever the developer refer age, okay, so it will give me what value is there in that memory block. Okay, so if I want to print this 45, I can print it by using variable name. I'll say print age. So age will indirectly, compiler knows what is age. Age is a variable. So it will not print the age as it is. It will print the value which is stored in the age variable. So now we will see that how it is working. I hope you understood this concept. So here I try to clarify two things. One is what is declaration, what is definition, and also the variable. These two are very important and very basic things every programmer need to understand. Data type and variable. Data type is decides the size of the memory. Variable decides the name of the memory location to access the data which is stored in that memory block. So depending on the data type, we decide what kind of data we need to initialize it. So that is about int. How do you how do you declare a variable is of type short type or byte type? Suppose let us say I want to declare a variable is of type byte type. So I will give the first data type, because syntax always whenever we ask to declare a variable, so immediately we need to remember this syntax: data type, variable name. So first we have to give a data type byte, and then I'll give a variable name. Variable name can be any name, but it should not be a keyword. It should like now we have a byte, int, short, long, okay, char, boolean. All these data types what I have discussed, those are all predefined keyword. The compiler knows the meaning of that. Okay, so when I give byte, compiler knows what is this byte. But again, if I give here byte, then it will be confusion. Okay, so the variable name will be user defined name, and that name is having certain rules. Okay, means while giving the name we have to follow certain rules. Variable name will be having the lower camel case. Variable name will be lower camel case. What do you mean by that? If I want to give the first name, so f should be small and n should be caps. Like method, the in our previous videos we have discussed, okay, how the method naming conventions are there. The verb and noun. The same way here also, but here we cannot say verb and name, noun. It is just like lower camel case. Whatever the, if there are two words, the first word first letter should be small and second word first letter should be caps. First name. Suppose if I am giving just number, then you can say number. You don't need to make the first letter as caps. And it should not it should not start from number, the digit 12, 12 value, we cannot say like this. If you want, I can say number 1, or I can give it as number 12, like this. But the name should not start from digit. It can end with the digit, but it should not start with digit. And also it should not contain a special symbols. Okay, for example, if I say first star name, we should not write like this. Okay, so star, it has its own meaning in the programming language, that is multiplication symbol it is. So we cannot use star. And next, we cannot use any other symbol apart from star also. For example, we cannot use caret symbol or percentage or hash or at the rate. We can use one symbol is or two symbols is allowed. One is underscore and one more is dollar we can use. Okay, so only two symbols are allowed while giving the name to the variable. Okay, but it should not contain any other symbol apart from this, and it should not be a keyword. Okay, which should not be a special reserved words in the compiler. So if you follow these naming conventions, that is very good. So make a habit of following these rules whenever we are giving the variable name. So now here I am giving byte value. So value is the variable name. I followed this naming convention here. So next you want to initialize, you can initialize the value. The same way, if I want to give a int and I want to store certain number, we can store the number here, int number equal to. And you want to give a long variable, you can say long pon number, you want to give it ph number, you can say, or directly you can type as a phone number. So we can mention like this. The same way, I want to assign the character value, then you can say character. Let us say I want to assign the grade. Grade will be always single letter. We have A grade or B grade. And when you are assigning the value to the character, the value should be in single quote. If I don't give a single quote, then compiler will assume this A also as a variable. So to differentiate between the variable and value, okay, so the single character values will be always in single quote. Grade is the variable, and this is data type, and this is value. This value is in single quote to indicates that it is a character data. If we don't give single quote, I told you it will consider it as a variable. And we have not declared a variable, then it will give you error. Then other example, you can even take it as char, alphabet is equal to, okay, so I want to store some k value, you can store like this. The next, if you want to store a logical value, boolean, suppose I'll say flag is equal to true. Okay, so this is data type, this is variable name, and is equal to true. I am giving the value here. So if you don't want to store a true, then you can store false. So any of these two we have to store, nothing else apart from that. So next is decimal value. Suppose I want to store there is a student, I want to store a marks of the student. So float marks is equal to 34.78 F. And here please remember this float is data type, and this is the variable name, and this will be the value. And in Java, for a floating point, we have to explicitly mention F. If I don't mention this F, by default the Java compiler will take this as a double. Okay, and double size is 8 bytes, and float size is 4 bytes. So 8 bytes of information we cannot store it in 4 bytes of information, 4 bytes. So the compiler gives an error. So always to initialize the floating point explicitly, we have to make it as float value. Okay, so 34 point, I'm telling the compiler that 34.78 is the float value. So I'm going to store it in marks variable, which is of type float type. So next, if you want to go for a double, okay, so let us say I have a variable salary, and you want to initialize the value like this. You can initialize. So this is data type, and this is the variable, and equal to, and this is the value. And here we don't need to explicitly mention it as a D. By default, the compiler will take it as a double value, and it is 8 bytes. And here I have declared the variable is also of type double type. So there will not be any problem. Okay, so it will accept it. So that is all about the data types and variables, and how do you initialize the value, and what are the default values are there. And I will show you, there is one simple table. So you can see this is data type, default value, default size, and the range. So byte is having the default value. What do you mean by default value? Whenever I declare a variable, if I don't give a value, it will take by default 0. Okay, and this default value is applicable for only instance variables, not for local variable. Okay, so please keep this in mind. We will see that if practically, okay, when we are doing programs. So byte, all these default values are applicable for instance variable, object variable, not for local variables. So byte default value is 0, and default size is we have already discussed 1 byte or 8 bits. And the range means from where to where we can store the values. We can store -128 to 127 values in this byte. And next, short default value is 0 and 2 bytes and 16 bits. We can tell it in one. Okay, you don't need to get confused. Either you can tell it in byte or you can tell it in bits. But to show you all of you, I have taken both here. And this is the range -32,768 to 32,767. Next is int. So default value is all integer, default value is 0. And 8 bytes. Sorry, integer is default is 4. And this is the range. This range we can tell it in short like this: -2 to the power. Power means exponential. Okay, power, uh, you know int size is 32 bits, right? So you can give it as 31, -2 to the power of 31 to 2 to the power 31 minus 1. Okay, so we can tell it in simple number like this if we are not able to remember this big number. Okay, any one way we can follow. The size we already know, that is 32 bits, right? So subtract 1. So -2 to the power of 31 to 2 to the power of 31 minus 1. Okay, so that's how we can say the range. The same is applicable for long also. The long is 64 bits. So this we can write it as -2 to the power 63. Why I'm writing 63? Because the number of bits here is 64. So -2 to the power of 63 to -2 2 to the power 63 minus 1. Okay, we can say like this. And next float, that is 0.0f, and this is 4 bytes, and this is the range of it. And double, okay, this is the range. And character default value is \u0000, and 2 bytes, the default size. And the range we can store is 0 to 65,536. And boolean default value is false, and size is 1 byte or 2 bytes. It fluctuates, okay, it varies from machine to machine. So 0 or 1 means range we can store only one, the true or false. So that is about your data types and variables. Thank you for watching this video, and in the next video I will show you the program on this all data types. How do you declare a variable, how do you assign, how do you print, how do you edit, and what kind of errors we will get, all that things we will see. And please, if you have any doubts, please mention it in the comment section, and if you like it, please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.